This is the overall structure of our wonderful Kali Dharma Undiyar. Now that we understand the whole 30 slokas, let us start with the first one. Our Swamiji uses one simple logic to reaffirm. Remember, it's Samvadakata, a guru telling a Sishya. He's saying, if you want to be a little more convinced that this is what is the path for me, first of all, be convinced that Bhagavan, there is somebody, that Bhagavan exists. And Bhagavan is very intimately associated with running of this universe. And without Bhagavan, this universe cannot run in a proper fashion. There won't be orderliness. There won't be timeliness. There won't be a system properly in place without somebody overseeing it. Niyamakaya lokanam. And the second part is Atmanam kalayamyam. So the first part is Niyamakaya lokanam. How do you know Bhagavan exists? He says, try to use this logic that there are 5 major elements. Aim Bhudangal. Bhudam means elements. As per our Sanatana Dharma, the 5 elements are earth, water, fire, air, and the sky. Panchabhuta. So, all the 5 elements don't actually see eye to eye with each other. That's the whole problem. Each of them are inimical to each other. Virodhama. Why na? It is made like that. If they are friends, na, they will become one. Na. You should have that diversity. Na. And diversity, na, there will be some conflicts. And each of the 5 elements are inimical to each other. For example, how we know is when Bhagavan decides to finish off this universe to wait for the next cycle to start, first thing he does, the earth is completely deluged by water and earth will lose its earthiness. And then water alone will exist. And then what happens? This water will be totally dried by fire. And the fire will be quenched by air. And the air will abide in space. You see, you have a very thin crust of air around earth. Finite than air, and the space is tremendously infinite compared to the finite crust of air. Na? If a finite thin layer of air merges in infinite space, na, anything divided by infinity is 0. Na? So even air is destroyed. Finally, space kuda Bhagavan abhi madichu ulla potuma. I have been there. You see, one of the Shastras says, like we fold a handkerchief, Bhagavan folds the space. Even space, Bhagavan completely takes off that space also. And the space also abides in something called avyaktam, that which is unmanifested. And all that may sound very difficult to understand until we look at the current scientific theories. At least these things it augurs well. The singularity, they are saying there was no time, no space at all. Why? Because for space to exist or time to exist, light has to travel now. Light travel, how do we measure time? Time is always measured only by the movement of light. During that point of singularity, there was this incredibly dense mass in a point. We call it as avyaktam. Point doesn't exist as a physical thing. It started becoming vyaktam. You see? How it starts becoming Vyaktam? First space, then air, and then fire or energy or whatever you call it, and then water, and then earth. This is how it happens, isn't it? So each of these elements are inimical to each other. Fire and water don't agree. You agree, na? Whenever there is fire, tanni kondu va. Enna Agni Bhagavanukku upasanika anikarathukku. So you bring water to finish off, quench that fire. And many times when I go to some earlier days, drama theaters and all, they'll have buckets saying fire. Red bucket. Seri, ulla edho neruppu dhaan irukku vettu paatha mannu. They keep mud in a bucket and they label it as fire. At times we take our enemies' names. So if there is a fire, you throw the mud to quench fire. Earth and fire don't agree with each other. Taniya utta bagashtam. Same with water and fire. Same with fire and air. Konja lighta air irukumbodhu, it is very nice. Fire grows very well. Suddenly, if it starts, blowing like a gale, na fire ananji pedu. A small little deepam you have, little air circulation, deepam is very happy. When you switch on a fan, deepam is also gone. Air. And the air and space, you see, inimical. With 5 elements, each of them inimical in 5C2. Our combination is a problem. You see, to understand this, in spite of all these 5 elements, inimical to each other. Inimical to each other, the universe has a proper regularity in it. The 5 elements have come together and they are now regulated. They are coordinated well. And then, Ozhungil irpadal. Ozhungana, space, time, vyakti. All the 3, there is an orderliness. There is a system there. It cannot be because of nature. And let me give you a statement, see if it makes sense. Earth, water, fire, air, space, all are naturally inimical to each other, right or wrong? By nature, they are inimical. They are adversaries. So naturally inimical elements came together in a coordinated way naturally. Is it possible? The rendu naturally opposite use pandrom illaya. If you put a little thought itself, it doesn't stand the test of logic. That naturally inimical elements came together naturally. How is it possible? Because they are inimical. So they can't be coordinating with each other to do productive work. So here, if all of them, in spite of having differences, are together coordinating and doing an orderly work, a productive work together, whether you see or not, there is something above these 5 elements who controls these 5 elements. You see, there is this inflammable gas in the kitchen. There is an open flame there. But then we have put boundaries, that cylinder cannot on its own accord put as much gas outside. We have a regulator. And from the regulator comes a tube. And the tube is separating this combustible gas from rest of the atmosphere. Then we have fire. And we ensure that fire is contained within the stove, you see, so that it does not go back into the... So if somebody says gas was there, fire was also there, but yet both of them didn't clash with each other, there was a regulator. Without a regulator, how is it possible for it to be contained? And so where Swamiji says, in spite of the 5 elements mutually inimical to each other, there is an orderliness in this universe made of these 5 elements. And that is because they are not naturally come together. They came together because there was an agent. There was a Bhagavan who brought all this together, made boundaries for each of them so that system works. System will work only when you draw boundaries. If you don't have any boundary, everything is carte blanche, then nothing will work. There has to be setu, there has to be a bridge, there has to be a compound wall which says this is what is your limit. Apodana system. Who puts that limit? That is Bhagavan putting the limit. That's why it's called Jayan. Jayam ne em peru avanukku. Bhagavan's victory is, in spite of these 5 inimical elements, he is able to bring them together and do productive work till the time he wants it to do. When he decides everything is over, now one by one, they fight among each other, like what happened in actually Prabhasa Kshetra. Until Bhagavan wanted them, they were all united. When Bhagavan decided, enough, come with me, they all fought with each other. Why? Nobody else could fight with them. So Bhagavan created inner conflict with his own folks. Those folks who would sit together, stand together, sing together, laugh together, suddenly became inimical to each other. Aldam Bhagavan. You see, he decided, come with me, 120 years over. Like that, here, that Bhagavan, they come together and coordinate perfectly and see the orderliness in the universe. Whether you take space, Earth is in the exact position which supports life. Sun is not allowing the earth to come a little closer or push it away, not possible. And in fact, all the other planets are there in that position to ensure the earth takes this wonderful orbit. You take 1 or 2 planets off, obviously there will be a cosmic imbalance. Suppose I take a couple of planets in between off, do you think the gravitational forces will support the perfect trajectory? Avlav intricate balance. People say a few kilometers here and there would make our earth untenable for life. You see, on the long run. Perfect place. Yeah, now, Bhagavan, Suttana Suttam. You see. And our imagine, na earth arna enna paadu enakku. You see. I have to be like a top, sutti, and angiyum sutti, and the sun is going around. You see. So here, everything is there. Orderliness, timeliness. Space, I told you. Next time. Then am I, space, time, and causation. Timeliness, correct, 365, 1/4 packed in the same place on the earth. You see. And the time for the sun to rise, sun to set, timeliness. And the seasons, timeliness. And rain, correct rain. But anyway, the timeliness, everything happens now. Perfect time. 10 மாசம் குழந்தைனா 10 மாசம் குழந்தை. And life for humans, 100 years plus or minus 100 தானே. Nobody ever, with all the advancement, 200 years, யாரும் இல்லையே. போட்டான் அவ்வளவுதான். You see. And same thing, when you put a mango seed, mango தான் வரணும். And you call any mechanism, call it genetics, all that, எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒரு intelligent force is there, கண்காணிக்கிறது. It is seeing all that. You see. And all that Bhagavan is doing because he is the one who is holding this whole universe. In spite of 5 mutually inimical elements, comes together in a coordinated way. Adinala he is saying, Virodhamam Aimbhudangal Ozhungil Irrupadal. In spite of these 5 elements being not very friendly with each other, it is in orderliness, hence Iyarkaivadam Virodham. That saying everything is nature without a conscious entity controlling the whole thing. Everything is nature, it evolves itself, etc. without somebody actually taking care in the sustaining universe is not tenable. You see. And hence, Virodhamam Nastigamum Undipara. Even an atheistic standpoint that there is nothing beyond what I see, what I hear, etc., nothing beyond my intellect, etc., is untenable because all this is controlled by an agency. Logic tells us if 5 people don't agree with each other, no work can ever happen from them. For example, I'll give you 2-3 examples. 5 managers, all of them very ambitious. And each of them want to gobble the other, you see. And 5 of them are put on a project. 5 of them are put on a project. What will happen to the project? Each of them, if anybody, if manager A, அவருக்கு பேர் பூமிநாதன் பேர். The Bhuminathan manager says, let us agree upon 3 months. அதுக்கு இவர் ஜலகண்டேஸ்வரன் இவர். That person said, no, 3 months is not enough, 4 months. And then அங்க அக்னீஸ்வரன் ஒருத்தன் இருக்கான். That fellow says, why 4 months? Let us do it in 1 week, I say. And then the 4th guy, Vayudut, he is saying, no way, I don't think this project is tenable at all. அப்புறம் ஆகாஷராஜன் கடைசி ஆளு. He said, no way, we are going to do it. If you are not doing, I will do it alone. Project initial kick-off meeting, kicking each other தான். You see, when all this is like that, suddenly customer finds 5 of them working perfectly. Our Vayudut is smiling at Akasharajan and say, good morning, Dad. Akasharajan is looking at our Bhuminatha and saying, how are you today? Customer, what's happening now? He does not have to see 1 floor above. General manager is sitting. Camera. You see. And everybody is looking. Mat bhayat vati vatoyam. Bhagavan says, why do you think all this is in order, mother? Kapila was there, Bhagavan. Mat bhayat vati vatoyam suryastapati mat bhayat. Varshati indro dakhyati agnihi mrutyuscharati madbhay mrutyur davati panchamahiti. When Bhagavan apart, everybody is shivering. Why? Control. And Adha Sarva Shaktan. And so here, when 5 children are there, next example, 5 siblings, or twins, triplets, mari pentalets, all of them 5, one by one. So you have 5 children, one is eldest, next elder, or younger. You have 5 children. There is a mother and there is a father in the family. These 5 children led to each other. One person's hair will be clutched by another person's hand. They are like that. But these 5 children, Chamatagan, Gopi Chandana Trinity, Tambi, come sit down. Abdingarthi. Ella Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Garati. Yanada Bin Pata, on the side window, in the Amma Patindrakana. You see, mother is seeing all that. And what mother is seeing, Ulla father is seeing all that. Father has given mother a plan, saying that 5 o'clock, all children should sit down and chant Sahasranamam. And the mother is executing the plan given by the father. Because the father is watching, the mother is watching the children. The father does not even speak. Just presence is enough for the mother to respect that and immediately saying, and all the 5 children are Samatha Chakra Kutina. It is because father is watching. And it is because father is watching that the mother slowly takes care of all the 5 children. The children are afraid. Father is respect for the father. So they bundle ordinary differences till father So till the father is observing, all of them are very, very, very chamat. And the mother will come, take care of the children. Whatever they have to do, they send him to school, the children come back, during the evening, night time, all these 5 children will come and sleep at the lap of the mother. The mother will first call the first child and said, "Hey, Bhuminatha, you see, you go to Jalakanteshwara, so the youngest Kutti Bhuminatha goes and sleeps on Jalakanteshwara's lap. The Jalakanteshwara, what he does, he immediately comes to Agnivesh, he will go and sleep in his lap. And Agnivesh Agnivesh Vayudut lap. Vayudut Akasharajan lap. Akasharajan Kupta Amma Tamadila Putpala. Potunto in the Amma Appa Madila Purtuntro. This is what is called Pralayam. Panchabhutata Avyaktam Prithvi. Avyaktam, that Avyaktam which is called nature, takes all the 5 elements, makes them all sleep on each other's lap. Each other comes and sleeps on her lap. She also quietly goes and sleeps on Paramatma's lap. Avyaktamu Avyaktadini Bhutani. In the morning when Bhagavan wants to wake up, he needs no alarm. If alarm wakes up Bhagavan, alarm is greater than Bhagavan. So who wakes up Bhagavan is the beauty. If you follow it carefully, you'll understand the secret of universe. Bhagavan has been waking up like that for a long time. Correcta 4:50 So Bhagavan, because he was used to that vasana, you see, you have vasana not smell. He has this tendency to wake up at 4, so that tendency itself wakes him up. Bhagavan does nothing. The moment his eyes open, somehow the mother knows. Mother Pattinu Tatu Akasha Avan Pattinu Tatua, Odane our Vayuduta wakes up. Vayuduta Pattinu Tatua. Then our Agnivesh wakes up. Agnivesh Pattinu Tatua, our Jalakanteshwara wake up. Jalakanteshwara Bhuminathan wakes up. And slowly all these activities again starts. You see. But the father is sitting where he is. And the presence of father with his sankalpa. This is how it should run. And that sankalpam or the plan of the father is called Vedas. And the Vedas are what nature follows as universal law. And a universal law is also called Dharma. That's why Vedas are our Dharma. You see, it is Bhagavan's intelligence. So if very old father, and if one of the classmates of Bhuminatha says, "Hey, when did your father become intelligent? Yesterday or day for yesterday?" He was always intelligent, you see. Why? Because he was always the father. He didn't age at all. Likewise, putting age for Vedas is like putting age for Bhagavan's intelligence. You may say the current sound of Vedas, as far as history can go, whom do you think was the first one in the history to utter it? I agree. It is like putting age for gravitation. At best, you can say, when did the name gravitation given to that process of gravitation? 300 years back, a scientist got a little bit curious, and at lunchtime he was waiting for apple to follow. And then why is for apple? Allah may be a legend, I don't know. But then he gave a name to a universal phenomena which is the cause of the universe. Without gravitation, universe could never come into play. Anumarida Vedas. And that is what is our Bhagavan's intelligence. You see? And the Vasana which wakes up Bhagavan is also Vedas. So, on the Vasana irukku, Vedas only wake up Bhagavan in the morning. And Vedas do the Suprabhadam. You see? Kausalya, Suprajan, Vedam Sarvas. And then Bhagavan wakes up. Vasana only wakes us up. And the moment Bhagavan wakes up, his power which was sleeping, which is his own consort, she wakes up. And the Shakti. And then slowly, one by one, all these little sons, which were all sleeping, Abhyaktamar, Vyaktamar. And then they do this universe till the prescribed time for Bhagavan. Bhagavan konjam apdi kottai uttarna konjam konjam ella vandu padichundrum. You see? So that is what is this wonderful mega family of Krishna, where even the Panchamahabhutas are but children for Bhagavan. And then Bhagavan is running all that. The reason why the 5 children are not fighting with each other, respecting their limits and doing productive work is because there is a father above watching. And that is why our Kapila was there, said, Mat bhayat vati vatoyam. The wind is blowing out of fear of mine, which means I am controlling it. Wind has no independence. Jadam Suryastapati mat bhayat. Sun is actually glowing with so much of energy until I want it to. 50% life over, another 50% I'll wait. After that, go on. You see? Varshati indroho dagati agnihi. Whether the fire is burning because of me. And Indra is throwing showers because of me. Because of the fear they have. Mrutyus charati. This death which goes knocking the doors, etc. Everything is because of me. They are all under my control. And that is the reason why Virodha Mama Imbudangal. When there is orderliness, when there is repetitiveness, when there is system, because nature is entropy, randomness, total maximum disorderliness. But there is orderliness here. It is not pure nature. It is somebody who is controlling this nature, a conscious entity, which we call Brahman, which we call Paramatma, which we call Bhagavan. So when you see this world in perfect orderliness, then we should get an idea that if things are orderly, perfect, there has to be a Bhagavan who runs this. It can't be nature. And I can't say there is no Bhagavan. There is a greater entity, conscious entity holding on to all these. And second thing which Swamiji very beautifully says is, there is so much beauty in the world. Bhagavan seems to love these beautiful hues of, he didn't make everything black and white. Take a peacock feather, for example. He's showing right on top of his crown, look at my creation. So many colors. And for a peacock, enna avasiyam pa? Black and black and white about. Made it a colorful world, you see. And see the shine, so many colors. Beautiful. Everything looks very beautiful in this world. And so that who is created, that who has designed all this is also an aesthetically rasika, isn't it? Adinaliye there has to be rasika. And a simple example, or logic. It was a legend, I don't know, maybe true, about Newton and some other scientists in United Kingdom. Okay. In that, this Newton was there, and there was a scientist who could not actually accept that hand of God. He couldn't accept. Newton left the little things for hand of God. But the beauty with our rishis is they don't go to God. Hand of nature oda uttuduva. Nature kala mere conscious principle than we kept God. So until we do all the scientific research, ella nature, prakriti dane. But that conscious principle is way beyond. You cannot model consciousness with equations. It is absolutely beyond intellect. No doubt about it. Nature you can define more and more. So I don't need a hand of God to explain nature, because I have Prakriti already. God is somewhere above there, above Prakriti. So scientists can never reach there. You see, they can maximum unravel more mechanisms in nature. But our Newton actually put some of these things as its hand of God is there, because the Earth should have been attracted to other planets. Yet it is running in a proper orbit. So possibly hand of God is what he wrote in, I think, Principia Mathematica or whatever book he wrote. Now it seems one of his fellow scientists was an atheist. And he said, why should you even say God, etc.? And Newton once called him, you come home, let us have a small discussion. And that day when he came in, Newton was not to be seen, Sir Isaac Newton. Near the dining table, it was a perfect replica of solar system with working model. Somehow with all these motors or whatever he had, or a key system, Earth was going around, whatever model they had, Mercury was going around, perfect. And the person came and he saw and said, fantastic. When Newton came inside and asked him, have you seen it? He said, yes, did you make this model? He said, no, I didn't make it. Who made it? It came on its own. This ball suddenly started running on its own. And the center, that red color ball happened to be the Sangmariya automatically. He says, don't kid me, with such perfect working model, how can somebody not actually put it in place? Newton smiled and said, originally you think nobody put it in place. Why are you saying that the model has to be done by an intelligent agency to have such precision and clarity? And that scientist sort of, I don't know whether he was convinced or not, but that was a story we hear. That is the beauty of understanding that when there is perfection in this universe, there are repeatability in the universe, systematic in the system, the universe is following a system, then there has to be an intelligent entity, Bhagavan. There has to be a conscious entity running all this. A train won't run on its own. It needs a driver. You see, even if you say it's automatic rail, it needs a programmer. A computer won't actually program itself. So there is always either a direct or an indirect hand of an intelligent, conscious entity in anything which is working in this world. And when you take the whole picture, the whole universe works. Yata etat chidatmakam. Because as Chaitanyam, Bhagavan is the one who is running this universe, said our Swamiji. So, Virodam Yerkaivadam, to say everything is nature is above even conscious principle, is totally negated, because nature is jadam. Nature is insentient. It knows only to decay. It does not know how to repeat itself. It does not know how to get into a cycle. There has to be a conscious, intelligent agency to do all this, correct on the cycle, you see. And the second thing is, Virodamam Nastikamum. So Nastika says, there is nothing beyond what I see. Beyond this world, there is nothing there. And beyond what I see, there need not be anything else. And he says, no, it is not true. Since I have already objected naturalism, atheism is automatically objected. Generally, when you have some 20 wrestlers, and you want to show you are better than all the 20, easiest way another, go to the undisputed strongest wrestler in the group. You defeat him, all the 20 are defeated. You don't have to separately do a duel with all this LKG, the 12th standard. You are the school captain, you are supposed to be the strongest wrestler. I will finish you means I have won over your school. So here, our Swamiji took the tougher one. Generally, in the gradation of negating philosophy, atheism comes first. Atheism, Lokayata Madam, then Sankhya Madam, then Patanjala Madam. It goes in that order. But here Swamiji reversed it to show, when I have finished the more stronger wrestler, you don't need to call another weak one. So Virodamam Iyarkaivadam Undipara, Virodamam Nastigamam Undipara. Once I have finished that, you don't have to come in at all. You are already defeated. I have taken the more powerful of you two, and I have finished them off. So obviously, you are also addressed. And so here, using just one simple logic, or hetu, using one simple reason, he has answered both. And Bhagavatam tells the ulta. You have to read Bhagavatam here. In the 3rd canto, it talks about creation. In that creation, what happens is, all the natural elements are all created. Earth is created, everything is created. Deities who are going to preside on all these is created. Sense organs are created, world is created, everything is created. Bhagavan kept quiet. And it seems all of them, all these devas who are supposed to do all this, Agni Devan, Vayu Devan, forces of nature, the deities of nature. Yete devaha kala vishnoho Kala Mayam Shalinginaha, they all came from Vishnu Maya only. They all have the Amsa, a little bit of Bhagavan's touch there. Nanatvat Svakriyani Shagha Prochuhu Pranjalayo Vibhum. They all went to Bhagavan and say, you are all a very diverse group. Each of us cannot coordinate with each other unless there is a touch of consciousness touching all of us. We cannot come together in a coordinated way. So they all go and pray. It seems Namamate Deva Padaravindam Prapanna Tapopashamam Atapatram. All the devas go and pray to Bhagavan. Without you, not coordinate. Virodham Yerkaiva. Even if all the 5 elements are there, how will they coordinate with each other? So that is Bhagavan who coordinates. And what is true for the universe is true for our body also. Our body is also a mini universe. We have 5 elements there. We have the element of smell, which is what we call earth. There is earth, there is proper mass there. There is something which smells. And then there is the element of taste. Taste in many body parts, there is a taste there. Where there is taste, there is jalam. Where there is smell, there is bhumi. And we also have the sense of touch, which is what is Vayu. And then there is a sense of energy and heat. Heat, you see. Heat everywhere in the body. And then there is space also. Anganga, there are spaces. There is space, alimentary canal space. You see. So there is space. There is air. There is fire. There is water. And also there is earth, which is the one which gives you the sense of smell and other stuff. It's a composite of these 5 elements. But then there is coordination. The Pancha Aimbhudangal in form of our 5 sense organs. Adana Bhudam. The Agni is there in our vak. Suryan is there in our eyes. Right? And then the Prithvi, Gandham, is there in our nose as Ashwini Kumaras. And Jalam, taste, is there, Varunan, taste. And then we have the Dig Devatar, Akasha in form of hearing. And we also have Vayu in form of touching and feeling. And we have these 5 sense organs of perception and 5 organs of action, which is again elements then. And with all these composite 5 elements of sense organs of perception, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, hearing, Anje sense organs. And then we have sense organs of working. We have the sense organs of walking and transportation. We have the sense organs of speaking. And we have the sense organs of egestion. We have the sense organs of procreation. All of them are karma indriya. And coordination with all that then. When I'm hungry, the eyes are busy. Kitchen you see. And there's nose is smelling. Aha, dosa. And immediately, automatically, legs are you see. The hands automatically take it. And then you swallow it. And inside Agni is ready for you. Jada Agni. Vaishwanaran is ready for us to actually digest it to give us energy. The same thing which Bhagavan is running this whole universe as Parabrahmam, as Bhagavan is also running this little universe called my body, made of the same Panchabhutam in form of Antariyami. You see? Now, Swamiji very beautifully has written 2 examples here. The first example said, look at the world outside. There is orderliness. If you see a well-made, lovely painting, would you say it is random? Randomly some colors was splashed and perfect Thakurji kaila flute irukku. Enna random varanja sir? Solvela. And technically, I will tell you, I see a poem where the head is held high, where the knowledge has not been lost in the dreary sand of dead habits. Poem. Then I said, my goodness, where did this poem come from? What a wonderful thought it is. Somebody told me, I doubt whether some human wrote it, sir. Why? I think if 3 billion monkeys randomly type it, 1 in 3 billion chance that you may get a poem like that in random typing. Now you have two options, you see. Either can be two, I don't know. Either when I see a lovely poem with an aesthetic sense, with perfect grammar and perfect meaning, I can either assume it is written by a very highly evolved soul called a poet, or I can assume some 3 billion monkeys were given a piece of paper and a typewriter and everything. So 1 in 3 billion chance these words came formed properly instead of A, S, D, F, E, F, semicolon, L, K, J, F, J. But then there is always a probability, na? If it's not 3 billion, 3 zillion. So there is a probability that I get a perfect Gitanjali poem where the head is held high, where my knowledge is free, where my ever-striving arms reach their arms towards ever-striving. And somebody, you have two theories which you can take. One, it is from a wonderful heart and religion, or accidental. Some 3 billion monkeys, how many billion monkeys? Number monkeying around. And seeing, maybe it is 5 billion monkeys, sir. No, it is 6 billion monkeys. Arre, what is that you want to believe in this? I can't prove either. God cannot be proved by intellect. So another sambhavana. There is a 1 in a trillion chance. If you make a trillion universes after the Big Bang, the fact that there is a perfect earth with a perfect water, air everywhere so that we can breathe. We need air every moment of our perfect. What does Oringal Irpadal mean? We can't live without 1 minute of breathing. Air is everywhere. Even in Atacama desert, it is there. And you need water for at least to survive. Beyond a week, you can't survive without water. 73% water. Or maybe more. Without food, I can't survive for more than 1 month. You have the rest of that filled with sugar, proper trees, etc. for us to eat. And I need oxygen at least over 50% in the air. Perfect alignment. Or 20% oxygen. 20%, not 50, 15. And air correct on the nitrogen, oxygen, everything is there. Now you can either think, what an accident. Or, Bhagavan, what is that you want to believe? I can't force you to believe either ways. But since the word Odingil Irupadal, I'm trying to show there is orderliness, not in mechanical repetibility alone. In aesthetic sense, there is orderliness. Can you imagine if the nose was here? Then each time you have to smell and eat. And mouth is here na, ibdi paathin ibdi saaptana. Evlo perfecta vechirukkom. You see, iduna Odingil Irupada. Everything is, and somebody says, but there was one person who used to write like that, but he has changed. He said, but for this prostrate problem, then there is no perfection in the body. Perfection is there. Bhagavan, some way we have to leave this body. Adukku or exit plan venuma. Whenever you go into a room, first thing you should know exit plans. So the body is not designed forever. There has to be an exit route. So depending on our health, obviously Bhagavan won't keep everything perfect. We have to keep living in this prison forever. So I won't even take that argument. So here, Odingil Irupada, it is in orderliness, aesthetic, beautiful, perfect. Appo Virodham here. Natural accident is, I am not able to accept it. Because it makes more sense for me to align towards a very beautiful Rasika, the one conscious entity which is immanent in this universe, who is controlling this universe, has created this universe. Because of the repetition, the balance, the food balance. Can you imagine? 10 billion people, right? 10 billion people living in this earth, and sustainability. Please think of these things. If we had not gravity and air could have gone out or come in like rains. Today air is going to come, be ready to breathe in. Can we live? Always there. And Bhagavan ensured perfect recycling within earth. If water escaped outside earth, what will happen to us? Even a small leakage over million years would have dried earth. Perfectly ensured. You may tell gravitation and all that. I will tell it is Adisesha, you see. So you don't tell me mechanism. Look at the whole picture so that we understand. We are not Nastikas. We are Astikas who wants to reinforce. And all that is Samvadakata. We want to reinforce our faith in Bhagavan. That's why we are doing all this. It's not a debate with atheists. We don't never go to debate. A Bhakta will never debate. Why should we? Bhakta will only pray, Krishna, so here, Virodhamam, Aimbudhangal, orderliness in space, orderliness in time, orderliness in positioning, relative positioning, orderliness in functioning. You see, perfect. If you take the body, if you have read medicine, etc., it would have been a miracle. The bloodstream, so interesting. And something as gross as food is converted into something as subtle as energy. You see, you may name it ATP and all that, but there is energy. There is energy which is converted by the food, so that we can talk, we can even oppose. Bhagavan energy. So here, first sloka says, look at the world, look at the external world, look at your body, look at this functioning, look at this beauty, look at this aesthetics, look at the perfection, look at the repetition, look at the orderliness. How can it be nature? How can it be not anything except a conscious entity called God? The God is a very loose term. And let us say Bhagavan to actually do this. But it's only to our Swamiji said, this type of a logic is only for a beginner. Jadam can never be the pramana for Chaitanya. You see, so Chaitanyata vechindu dhaan jadata paakaram. The next question is Janmadhyasya yataha. Idella sastram. That's why I'm telling you. Janmadhyasya yataha. Look at this world. Who has created this world? Who is sustaining the world? Who will take this world back is the preliminary vichara. Then he said, to whom is this world seen? How do you see this world? This won't see the world. This lamp cannot see the world. That mobile cannot see the world. But I am able to see it now. What makes you see the world which the rest of the world cannot see? A pillar does not know that there is water near that pillar. The air does not know that there is a plant in between. But I seem to know everything. And I seem to know I am also here. And the consciousness in the What makes you conscious? Don't go out and use something else as a pramana for Bhagavan or consciousness. Consciousness is there, which is the pramana for me to see all these things. Yeah. The moment consciousness is not there, who is talking? What can we talk about? What can we see? Eyes are there, but I can't see. Vak is there, I can't talk. It's the consciousness which tells us there is this universe. And the knowledge, where is this knowledge sustained about this universe? And where does it finally go back to? Janmadhyasya yataha. Nee irukradhunala danada ulagame theriyadhu. Ulagam irukradhunala na irukena solva. So non abindrom illaya, consciousness. Once you understand what that consciousness is, Atma therinjirna Paramatma also. So here, the next sloka is not random. Talam pakka. Every sloka is connected to the next sloka because it's a flow. It is not a bhavukamana kirtanam illa idu, shastra kirtanam. So shastra vicharam goes like that only. First look at the external world and ask the question, if the world has orderliness, there must be Bhagavan, preliminary for LKG. Now comes a better vichara. You see, what is the better vichara? ஆண்டவன் இல்லாமல் ஆகாரம் கிடைக்கலாம், கிடைத்தது சரி. For a public, he is answering them. You see, he is answering them. Where the people say, Andavan, no sor kadikkumada. Inga very beautifully saying, generally this the so-called atheists, they say, if you keep on saying Andava, etc., without efforts will you get food? You have to actually work to get food. Our Swamiji said, when did we say don't work at all? In fact, our Shastram says, Annam bahukurvita tat vratam, go and work hard. A person who does not work but eat food is eating his own papam. Do your work. Somberi arkada is what our Shastra says. So they actually imagine a non-existing argument, try to put it our name under it, and then they are asking that very intelligent question. What? That Andavan irundal sor kadikuma. You have to actually, if Bhagavan is there, will you get food? You have to go and work, isn't it? So don't keep saying Bhagavan, go and work. Who is saying don't work at all here? None of our Shastras ever said that. Purusha Prayatnam is always the first step in any Shastra. But our Swamiji says, Apdiyer Gatumba. I will go with what you say. Let us start with the preliminary outside Satsang argument. Then I will tell you the greatness of the sloka for Satsangis. Here he is saying, yeah, let me even assume, mom, the kadikalam, even if I assume it is true, it's not true actually. Andavan illama soru kuda kadikadu, which is going to explain. Potta vidai mulai varuvadal bhumikku uyir irukkupa, adanal sore kadikadhu, he is going to explain later. So he is now saying, let me for the time being agree to your argument. Yes, without Andavan, maybe you get food. Apro, I eat it. You eat it, right? First of all, Swamiji Upalakshana. You have to pick the food. If that kada ull is not there, who will pick the food? If that which is inside leaves this body, can you move your hand to even put your food in your mouth? Can you munch the food? Can you digest the food? You see, you may get the food granted, not really. I don't agree, but even if I take your argument as true, for that food which you earned, for it to be digested, don't you need Bhagavan? He could have asked for munching. He could have said for swallowing. Why digestion? Adan Shastra. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaka Prana Pana Samayuktaha Pacham Yannam Chaturvidam. Bhagavan saying, Aham Vaishwan. When Thakurji Kashtaputtu Nandanda Vaishwanaran Sollum, our Swamiji wouldn't he take credence to that wonderful word of Bhagavan? So he is saying, even if you get the food, when you swallow it, who is the one who digests it? Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. Bhagavan Sri Krishna as Vaishwanara, as Jada Agni, is the one who has put in the processes to make sure the gross food is converted into energy and it is digested. Because the moment Antaryami leaves the body, what happens? You put food in the mouth. Adhukku vera per illaya, saapadu na per. Adhukku enna perna vaakkarisinu per. Because it is just a rice for the mouth. You can't digest it, you can't swallow it. Paarindra. Vella Vedanta. Paaru. Unakku irukkunna ulla irukkan Antaryami. Bhagavan is inside. So he is saying, Kidaitadu sarika vendrundi para Andavan venduma mundi. Rendu vaati Andavan. That Andavan is the Loka, Samasta Loka, Akilanda Koti, Brahmanda, Nayaka Andavan. First line la. Ava illane vechikopa. Ulla Antaryami Andavan has to be there. Na? The one who controls is called Andavan. What does he control? He controls this mini kingdom called the body, Antaryami. If he is not there, can you digest this food? And for you to digest this food, there has to be the Antaryami, Andavan. Yara Andavan na? The Sarirata, Manasa, Buddhi, Ella Aldravan. Kadavul. Our Swamiji says in Tamil, Kadavul means that which is the innermost. Kada means that which is transcending. That who transcends this physical body, that which transcends and goes inside than even the Pranamaya Sariram. that who goes even more inside than even the Manomaya Sariram, that who goes transcends and goes innermost than even the Vijnanamaya Sariram, that who is actually transcending even Anandamaya Sariram as per some philosophies, which is deep sleep, etc. After transcending, he goes in illar. அது அப்படியே தைத்திரோபனிஷது வாக்கியம். ஏதன் அன்னமயம் ஆத்மானும் உபசங்கிரம்யா அப்படின்றோம் இல்லையா? கடந்து 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 உள்ள இருக்கிறது கடவுள். Wonderful name in Tamil. கடவுள். And unfortunately, these Nastikas say கடவுள் இல்லை, கடவுள் இல்லை. உள்ள ஒண்ணுமே இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா வெள்ள என்னப்பா வரும்? Our Swamiji says, if inside the divinity is not there in form of antaryami, how can you even talk? How can you even see? When you are talking, it means that the divinity is right inside you. Otherwise, you can't open your mouth. No sound will come. You can't speak. You can't do anything. So Swamiji is now moving away from saying this universe is created by Bhagavan. Since the universe has orderliness, there has to be Bhagavan at the first level for normal people. For a little more intelligent people, who is seeing this universe? Who is eating the food? What makes your food digest? What makes you observe the whole thing? That is divinity inside. Tat Brahma. Look inside you. That's where Bhagavan is. So from outside to slowly drawing ourselves inside. So he uses two examples. That this is Nastika is not there, and our Loka, the Dharma, obviously, and then Sankyam is not true. There has to be a Bhagavan who controls Prakriti. The nature is under the control of Bhagavan. Why? Just like how the power of a powerful person is in the control of the powerful person, nature is actually under the complete control of Bhagavan. And Bhagavan uses nature only to create. Nobody denies that. But don't think nature is independent. It is worked by a conscious entity called Bhagavan. Just like how you can't separate the song from the singer. Without the singer, song does not exist. Likewise, nature as a creative Shakti cannot exist on its own. So from now on, if at all you are saying there is a force above us, now don't say force and all, ellam jadam. Force nale Prakriti. Some Shakti above us nalum Prakriti. Say there is a person above us. Say there is a conscious entity above us. That's more accurate, you see. Because Shakti, everything is Prakriti. So here, then after showing this, world is not the pramanam for Ishvara. Ishvara is the pramanam for you to see the world. So instead of looking for Bhagavan as the cause of this universe outside, why don't you just go inside and say, without Bhagavan in you, none of these things which we do day in and day out is possible, right? And then he's saying, now that we have established clearly that Nastikavada is not worth considering, or naturism is not worth considering, now let me tell you the possibility. Yes, it's possible to see Bhagavan. So if Bhagavan exists, can I see him? Yes. Like Ramakrishna Paramsa said yes to Swami Vivekananda. And our Swamiji said, yes, it's possible to see Bhagavan. Kadavulai kaanalam. You see? Yaar solva? Only Mahatmas can say it. Very beautifully, our Swamiji says, this is also related to the Mahamantra Kirtanam, Chidagasam Tannil Milirndidum Namamam. Unakan means that organ of seeing, or that bunch of flesh in our face, which is an organ through which we see things. That kan. Unakan illamal. Without that organ called eye, which is in the face, we can see God, because we cannot see God with the eye. The God cannot be objectified. God is not an object. You see, if God is object, nale, if it is seen by my eye, nale, then it is subject to destruction, creation, sustenance, all these things. Then it becomes Prakriti. And so, without this physical eye, we can see Bhagavan. How? Without eye, how can I see? You see? Then our Swamiji says, yesterday night you said you had a dream. Yes. Were your eyes closed or were your eyes open? I was having my eyes closed. Then how did you see the dream? Good question. They say, how did I see the dream? I saw it with my mind. So you can see things with your eyes closed. Which means eyes are not the only means for us to see stuff, isn't it? There is something subtler than eye. It is called the eye's eye, kannukku kannu, which is mind. Right? This is Ekashloki. This is the essence of the highest of all teachings given by Bhagavad Pada, Ekashloki. How do you see sunlight? In the night, moonlight. Amavasa, Agni light. Agni light vida sukshmam. The light in my eyes makes me see. What if there is more subtle than light in the eye? The light in my mind makes me see in the eye. Why? Because even if I see directly like this, if I don't observe, oh, you came yesterday? I didn't notice. But I crossed your eye. I was not paying attention. No, which is the highest light here? The light of the mind is higher. And at times you say the mind, inniki na ore mood seriyilla, na green mood inniki, tomorrow yellow mood, and day after tomorrow red mood in the chart la potam vechukonga. Who is that who is actually telling today I was sad, tomorrow I am happy? Na, there is an intellect which has the higher light than even mind, which even tells you the difference of the moods of the mind. Na? So higher is the light of the intellect. And the highest is that which is a sakshi to the intellect also. That which exists even when the intellect is sleeping in the deep sleep. Because when you wake up, you are able to recollect that I slept well yesterday night. And that which existed as the highest light is the light of consciousness. And the light of consciousness is called Chidagasa. And that light of consciousness is our means to see consciousness. Jadata jadatala paakarom. Thoughts ala paakarom. Chaitanyata ala dhaan paaka mudiyum. Vera edhaliyum paaka mudiyadhu. Adanal dhaan our Swamiji has given, I keep getting the awe in the simplicity of him explaining this. Nishabda mana sancharinam.
Nishabda mana sancharinam. Sarva Suparayuda Muralidhara
Govinda Kamadhenu
Bhajami Aravindashanamadeyam Bhajami.
Oh, he's saying for you to see Govinda, he has to come, na? Where does he come? When the mind is absolutely quietent, the light of Chaitanyam in us started getting, a little bit, it will start shining. In that light of consciousness, you can see the very embodiment of consciousness called Bhagavan. I'm saying when you see physical object outside, by eyes we see. Little more subtle, the thought of that physical object in form of light. I see it with my mind in sleep. But if I have to see Chaitanyam, which is Bhagavan, then I have to transcend the physics, mentals, and finally go to the state of consciousness. So here he's saying, Kanavu kanbadarkendru undi para, unakkan vendumo undi para. Many times Mahatmas will say A, B, rest C, D, E, F, number fill panikano. It's called Upalakshana. So just like how physical object, Bhagavan is not something which is physical. So obviously you can't use another unakkan, which is a physical eye, jadam, and a little more subtler than eyes is the mind. And for you to see the dream, do you need the physical eye? If your mind is active and going here and there, that is enough for you to see it. How do you see that in the dream? Please be with me here. A little subtle point which Swamiji told us when we discussed about Nishabda Manasan. Dharma Vicharam, be with us, because the greatness of our Sanatana. In your dream, the very sanchalam of the mind is the seeing, right? In the dream, what is available to us? Only our mind. Are there 5-6 minds available? Ore mind is available. That mind itself becomes the seer. That mind becomes the seen. That mind becomes the seeing also, right or wrong in the dream. Moonume manase pandrathu. How? When I am sleeping, suppose I saw a mango in the orchard today, and I am sleeping. Na the manga ne thungita. When I am sleeping, remembering the mango, the thought of the mango comes in my dream. What is the thought? My mind only. And I see the mango in my dream. Who is seeing? I am only. What is that mango? My mind thought only. What is the act of seeing? My mind thought only. One mind conjures up a mango, conjures up me as a separate agency from the mango and seeing also. Only my mind was there and doing all this multiplexing. Mind and the Shakti irkumbodu Chaitanyathukke and the Shakti. Mind is seeing itself in the dream. Mind is, one thought is also my mind. Seeing another thought, that's also my mind. I saw what that I is, adu my mind thane. So that one agency called the mind in the mental space is able to be the object of being seen. What else is there in my dream except my mind, you tell me? At least in the physical world, mango is different from me. There is a physical space. So obviously I see a mango through the space, the light travels, so it's my eye and I register. But in my dream, I have only one agency, my mind. Only thoughts are there. The same thought has taken the form of a mango. Same thought is saying, I am seeing the mango. And the same thought is also traveling in form of a process of seeing. So Swamiji, this is the highest teaching of consciousness. You see, in that he is saying, when you actually do the dreaming, do you need physical eye? You don't. Likewise, to see Bhagavan, go one step higher. Even mind is not enough for us to see Bhagavan. You see? So you have to give up something. For you to dream, you have to give up your physical seeing. If you physically see and dream, there's no problem. So you give up physical seeing to do mental seeing. You give up even mental seeing, be in that state of Bhava Samadhi, then you can see the Chaitanya, Bhagavan. Rupam, Namam, Alla Chaitanya. Because the mango which you saw in the dream is made of what? Thoughts only, na? It's not made of glucose, fructose and all that, na? Ade Mari Bhagavan ude a wonderful form which we see, Krishna na Chaitanya. Chaitanya na tasya priyameva chiraha, made of love. And that name, Krishna, abdina and the Samadhi, that is also made of Chaitanya. Shabdamu Chaitanya, Namamu Chaitanya. Ada Chaitanya Taladam. Mind cannot perceive it. Just like how this cannot perceive that. Likewise, Jadam cannot perceive Chaitanya. Na the Chinmayama, Manasa Thalli, Pranana Thalli, Buddhi Allan Thalli, Adaki, and the Sarira Talan Thalli, Adaki, and the Chinmaya stage Lerkumbo, Chaitanya Tabakam. Adam Bhagavan. And the Bhagavan Urvam will add one best lam. Adha Bhava Samadhi. That is the state our Mahatmas are. So Krishna Nava Patangardu, Nambedo Kanavan Krishna Patan Sulti, and Vidya Song Lina, or a chin ant hill, entire universe. You see, and that is very different. So here, our Swamiji says, don't look at it's possible. Mahatmas have seen. People say, na baso more naina me. Naina mena inner thona, anda naina. You see. அந்த நயனம், அந்த நயனத்துல எப்படி பார்த்தான்னா நான் கண்ணை திறக்கும் போது எனக்கு இங்க தெரியறதுன்ற அந்த அளவுக்கு அனுபவம். So here Swamiji's normal thing is possibility. Yes, you can see Bhagavan. For you to even see things in the dream, you don't need a physical eye. And so only don't think seeing can be done only by the physical eye. That is the point here. But I have extended it to show you how it's seen, because Swamiji has confided all that with us when during private discussions. So here, that is the beauty of the third verse. And we'll stop here. And I know it is a little heavy, but it is meant to be that. You please listen. It gave us tremendous clarity in our path. Sanatana Dharma, you will understand fully when we go through all these verses, because that's how Swamiji has, taken care of us. And I thought we'll share that joy with you all.